Here is the second summative test, English 9 review. So there are 3 parts of the review. The first one is 11 elements of scripts. There are 5 of them: cast of characters, settings, act, scene, dialogue, directions. When we talk about cast of characters, these are the people or names who appear in the play. Sometimes you have them tell their part or role. So example is Anna, Ben, Carlo. So sometimes they will also tell you what the details are. Setting is the place and time. It tells where and when the story happens. Example, living room, classroom, park, or beach. The actor scene is the divisions of the play. Act is a major division of a play, and scene is a smaller division within an act. Example, if there's one act, it can be divided into 2 scenes. So these 2 scenes make up one act. So the scenes are just part of an act. Next is the dialogue. These are what the characters say or spoken words. You will always have the pattern where you see the name and the spoken words. Example, Anna is the name, and then what the dialogue is like good morning. Ben is the name, and then the word that he spoke were good morning too. Stage directions are those instructions which are in parentheses. Example, smiles, cries, mumbles, walks towards the door. Now let's have an example. Let's explain it once again. When you have the list of names, those are called cast of characters. Scene 1, 2, 3, Act 1 are the act and scene. Classroom, park, library, living room are the setting. And spoken words are called dialogue. And those instructions in parentheses are stage directions. Let's practice. Here you will have a sample script, a very shortened sample script, and then you will identify the parts. So you just need to put the name of the parts here, and then we will check in class. Practice 3, here's the dialogue. You will also identify what they are. So the 5 parts. Now here's a practice. Mia and Jen is a dialogue, act, scene, stage directions, or cast of characters. The correct answer is cast of characters. Classroom is the setting. Scene is the actor scene. Have you seen my notebook is part of a dialogue. You know it's a dialogue because it's in quotation. That means someone said them. These are spoken words. Mia walks towards the table. Since it's in parentheses and it's an instruction, it is a stage direction. So let's now move forward to understanding poetry. So poetry is a form of literature that expresses emotions, experiences, and ideas, but in a very careful way. Words are carefully chosen. Let's look at the example. There are 2 parts of literature. Either it's a poetry like this one or prose. Prose is written like in paragraphs, like how we write our text normally. And this is an example of poetry. You know it's poetry because it has measurement. From afar, you could see that it's organized into lines and stanzas. Now, speaking of stanza, the stanza of a poem is like a paragraph in a prose. So it's the paragraph form of a poem. Look at this. It has 2 paragraphs. So this one has 2 stanzas. So this group of information, the 3 lines, are called one stanza. This is another one. So there are 2 stanzas. Now I mentioned line. Line are the text. Each row of the poem is called a line. Example, this one, the stars shine bright at night, is one line. They fill the sky with light, that's another line. And dreams rise and gently soar is another line. So here you have line 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 lines, and this is one stanza. So we have another idea or topic, which is rhyme scheme. So these are pattern of rhyming words. When you say rhyme, these are words ending in the same sound. Example, they play. They both have a at the end of their at the end of the word. So this is one rhyme. And then another one, light, night, is another rhyme. So here we have 2 sets of rhymes. They play and light, night. So when we have a rhyme scheme, we have a pattern to follow. The first set of rhyme is A, the second line is B, the second set of rhyme is B, and the third set is C, and so on. So each set of rhyme starts with A. In this case, day and play are the first set of rhyme. So these are letter A. So that means this is A and this is another A. So the next line or the second set of line, we will label B. Since light and night are another set of rhyme, we will label them B. So A, B, B. Which will make us see that we have the pattern AABB. So the rhyme scheme of this set of rhyme is AABB. Now, example, if you have a stanza whose first line ends with U, the second line ends with Q, the third line ends with taboo, and the fourth line ends with new. So all of them have oo, 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 oo sound. So that means we have a rhyme scheme of AAAA. Another example, the stars shine bright at night. They fill the sky with light. So night and light are the first set of rhyme, and then soar does not rhyme with them. So it's B, the second set of rhyme. So it's night A, light A, and then soar B. So we have AAB. So let's take a look at this one. The morning stars anew, the cloud drift with the blue, the world awaits its cue. So new blue cue is AAA. Now let's take a look at the literary genres. Genres are just a partition or classification. We have drama and poetry, fiction and nonfiction. When we say drama, these are written to be performed on stage. And then poetry uses rhythm, imagery, and emotion. These ones are written to be shared in what oration. We also have fiction, which is something that's not real. It's a made-up story. And then nonfiction, that means it's based on real facts and information. Now, here's a practice question for literary genre. A story written to be performed on stage is called drama. One of the aspects checked or discussed in My Heart and I is repetition. So poems normally do repetition when they want to emphasize something. Example, in they one part of the poem can say never give up, never give up, never give up. So the poem repeated line emphasizes maybe uh, pain, emotional exhaustion, weariness, or grief. Another discussed is tone. When we speak of the tone, we talk of the writer's attitude. What does this mean? So when we talk about the attitude of the writer, we are looking at how does he view it? Is he hopeful? Is it angry, sad, reflective? Example, I miss the days when we shared the days we shared together. So it makes you know the attitude of the writer is sad. Mood is also considered. Mood is the feeling experienced by the reader. So tone is one from a writer's perspective, and mood is from a reader's experience. Example, happy, gloomy, peaceful, tense. Here's the example. Dark clouds cover the sky as silence filled the room. So it feels gloomy or slightly sad. In the case of grief, the feeling of deep sadness because of loss, the thing that will let you know it's a sign of grief is crying, loneliness, missing someone, or emotional pain. So, how do we know the message of the poem? We normally take a look at the general information. It may usually the poems discussed on the test are about tiredness, emotional pain, loss, looking back on life. So, as you see, the deeper message is loss can weaken a person's sense of self-worth. So let's practice. Why do poets use repetition? A, B, C, or D? It is B, to emphasize important ideas. What is grief? It is the deep sadness due to loss, which is letter B. And 3, what does contemplation mean? It means to reflect or think deeply. A. So, reflection and contemplation are means of thinking deeply. Example, a person quietly reflect on life choices. Words related to contemplation are thoughtfulness or deep thinking. Good luck with your test.